In 1933, America was introduced to the Lone Ranger. It started as a radio series. The stories of a Texas Ranger Native American warrior fighting for justice in the West captured our imagination. Their adventures were later turned into a television show and several films. Now, Johnny Depp and Armie Hammer put their stamp on this iconic piece of American folklore. Here is the trailer for The Lone Ranger. I spoke with Johnny Depp last week about his latest role, his career, and his life. He just recently turned 50. Excerpts of that interview aired on CBS this morning. Here is my conversation with Johnny Depp in its entirety.
Thank you for doing this. It's good to see you.
It's great to see you, man, as always.
Tell me about this movie and Tonto and how you see him.
The film, I mean, you know, when Gore... actually, when Jerry Bruckheimer and I first sat down, I showed him some photographs that I'd taken, just on my own, you know, with my makeup artist, Joel Harlow, and a photographer friend, as a kind of a test of what I believe the character should be, and I showed him to Jerry, and the film was dead in the water at that point, and suddenly, you know, things started to come alive. Disney
Dead
was
in the water
excited.
because there was skepticism about...
I think dead in the water because Disney just didn't want, I think at the time, you know, prior to any of the budgetary dilemmas we ended up having, Disney at the time just, you know, they had their, you know, fingers in other jars.
This was before or after Pirates?
This was after Pirates.
Wow.
Yeah, after Pirates. And I just had this idea, you know, I just saw this guy as this kind of very, you know, interesting sort of warrior. And there was I saw a way to tip the cliche of the portrayal of Native Americans, you know, tip that cliche on its head, just flip it around, and I strongly believed in it. And you know, the great thing is that Jerry Bruckheimer, the folks at Disney, Gore Verbinski, when we all sat down, you know, and the writer Justin Nathan, we sat down in our think tank, you know, what's the story? First and foremost was these people must be respected. These Native Americans, these human beings need to be respected. They need to be treated with dignity, and that was first and foremost. And then the entertainment sort of part came later, you know.
But you remember watching Tonto as a child?
Oh yeah, was a big fan. You know, was a big fan. You know, watched the black and white series with Clayton Moore and Jay Silverheels, and loved it. But always, I mean, even at the ripe old age of 5, 6 years old, I was always somewhat perturbed at the idea of Tonto being a sidekick. You know.
And this is the time for you in this portrayal to rebalance that understanding of him and the relationship with the Lone Ranger.
Indeed. So that therefore the Tonto is really the kind of, in a way, the gravity of the movie, the gravity of the film, and he is, in this film, there would be no Lone Ranger without Tonto. So that's the kind of, you know, turn that we took.
Take a look at this. This is Rolling Stone magazine, but there you are.
There he is. Yeah.
There he is. And take a look at this. You know this photograph.
Yeah, that was the inspiration.
That was the inspiration.
That was indeed the inspiration. I saw that. I kept thinking about the character, and I ran across that image online.
Yeah.
And thought. Immediately, I was struck by the lines going down his face, because it appeared to me that as if the man had been cut into quarters. You know? And there were the various sections of the man, the personality, the rage, the damaged child, the this, the that, you know, so...
you could see all that in the face.
That's what I felt, you know, and then I thought, oh, that's great, the bird's on his head. Oh, no, it's not on his head, you know, it's flying behind him, and I thought, well, it should be on his head, of course, you know, as his spirit guide, you know, as Tonto's sidekick, in a way.
Does he fit into other characters that you have portrayed?
I think so. Yeah, I think so very much. I think there's a, you know, if there's one sort of monofilament that you know that connects them all, it's that still that same theme of, you know, what is considered normal, you know, what is considered outside, what is considered inside, what's considered strange, what's considered, you know.
Yeah, you have famously said what some people see as normal, you see as weird.
Most things that are considered normal and that are very well accepted in life, I'm fascinated by because they just seem like odd things to me. You know.
I remember when we first started talking about maybe 1998 or so, you said you'd see your future as a character actor, and it's turned out quite different. I mean, you do characters, but you became this huge international star.
There was a fluke misspelling somewhere along the way that I wasn't involved
in. A deviation in the road.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Well, the good news is that, I mean, you know, certainly, you know, once pirates hit the streets, you know, life changed for a lot of people involved in that.
How did it change for you?
Well, I'd already had a kind of, you know, I'd been around for a while, so, you know, I was somewhat used to the loss of anonymity and you know the sort of, you know, I suppose reclusiveness that goes along with that. Or you
said living life as a fugitive.
In a way, you know, and that's really when it became apparent that things were radically different. That was when it was like every move, you know, every time you left your house, you know, especially with the kids or whatever, everything had to be strategized. It was almost like a, you know, military strategy to get you from point A to point B, through the kitchen, down the stairs, you know. And then, yeah, somewhere along the line you realize, wow, I mean, it's really is not
Will you at some point say no to all that?
I don't know if I can, I mean, I don't know if you can say no now. Yeah. I think no is probably not an option anymore. I don't know, you know.
But I would think this is the best time of your life right now. I mean, first of all, you've got your kids, which is the thing that's changed your life.
Yep.
And secondly, you can do what you want to do.
To some degree.
Pick and choose.
Yes. You know. Yeah, to some degree. I think that even, you know, even now, you know, when presented with the image of Tonto, Disney were struck by them. But I think there was, I think that when we went into production and they saw what was what I actually looked like really fully, I think that they were a little bit worried again.
They had more doubts.
And yeah, and that's sort of that. That's the kind of stimulus, you know. I mean, it's stimulating for me. I find if somebody's a little worried about what I'm doing, then I think I might be doing it.
You must be doing something right.
Must be doing it right. You know.
If they're not worried, you're worried.
Yeah, oh, yeah, absolutely. If I don't see some sort of panic or fear near me, then I get worried.
Yeah. Well, were you worried when you turned 50?
No, you know, it was like, I mean, it was just a wake up, it's another day, you know, and everybody makes a deal about, you know, the idea of, oh, 50, you know, half a century and stuff like that. It felt like 40 to me. It just felt like another decade, really, you know. I suppose the only thing at 50 you can really start to look forward to is just total irresponsibility.
Irresponsibility or responsibility?
Total irresponsibility, yeah. As you get older, you know, you can just sit in a chair, can't you? You can wear anything you want. You know, you can walk down. Old people dress cool, you know, they wear sweatpants, you know, the elderly have it down.
Somebody once said to me, when I became 60, I used to care about what people thought of me. Now I only care about what I think of them.
You know? Yeah, exactly. I remember Marlon distinctly saying, you know, he reached a certain point in his life where he just finally was able to utter the words, "I just don't care." And the way he said it to me was, it was like you know, it was as if he attained nirvana, you know.
What did he mean or does he mean to you? Marlon Brando.
Marlon Brando, I mean, he means everything to me. He was a great friend, a great mentor, a great teacher, a great father, one of the best friends, one of the funniest people I've ever known. Yeah. And I was so lucky to be welcomed into his life. And again, like spending time with a person like Marlon, who has such wisdom, what's great is when you're with that person that you know is so special in your life, and you're aware of how special that time is. That's the great thing that I carry with me. But I think about him every day. Yeah. Every day I hear him.
He worried a little bit about you working too hard.
Yeah.
He said what?
He said, He said, how many films do you do a year? And I said, I don't know, it depends, you know, maybe 3. He said, too much. I said, what do you mean too much? He said, we only have so many faces in our pockets. You know, and I thought,
you got it.
It makes sense, man. Like, you know, you run out of characters.
Yeah, but he did tell you to do Hamlet.
He did. He practically begged me he said, just drop out of Hollywood. Just walk away for a year. Just take off. Go to London. Study Hamlet. Play that part before before it's too late. Because he said, I never got a chance to play it. You know, so it's one of those things that, you ping pongs around in your head for years and years, and you do get to a certain point where you go, am I a little long in the tooth to play Hamlet now?
No. So when are you going to do it?
Yeah, exactly.
I'll play Marlon. When are you going to do it?
Exactly. I don't know, boy. It is that cliched dream of an actor, to play the Dane. It really is. It's one of the most beautiful.
All you have to do is tell them you want to do it.
The stage would have to be so far away from the audience at this point.
Hunter Thompson. What did he mean to you?
Again, everything. Very similar to Marlon, but from another angle, as you know, a very different angle, but wise and hilarious, and again, someone that I knew that time was very special.
What is clear with you that attracts or brings my respect, you care about friends.
Deeply, sure.
You're deeply loyal to friends.
Yeah.
And there's a certain strain that runs through them. I mean, they are real, authentic people who seem to march to their own drummer.
Indeed, yeah. I've been so blessed, I mean, in that sense, from, Marlon to Hunter to, my great friend Patti Smith to my great friend Keith Richards to Al Pacino. I don't know that why I've been this lucky, but I have.
Are you still learning about acting?
Oh, I think you learn every time out of the gate. I think that's the thrilling thing about the process, is that every time you're out there and you give it a shot, with a character that might make people a little nervous initially, especially people with their wallets involved. It's the process itself is a gas, and you're out there trying to do something different each time, because your main responsibility, I think, as an actor, aside from serving the script and the author and the director and whatnot, is to the audience, which is to not bore them. Try something different each time, and each time you try something different, you're stretching out a bit.
What's interesting is you find a hook too, and with Jack Sparrow, it was Keith.
Keith was Keith was most assuredly one of the main ingredients in Captain Jack. Yeah.
With Tonto, it's this photograph.
Tonto, it's the photograph and the sort of idea of dissecting the
multifacets of it.
The multifacets of the man, the warrior, the child, the desperate, need to avenge his dignity, his integrity,
It's also interesting how you prepare for a role. I mean, you're a big reader.
Yeah.
Buried My Hearty Wounded Knee.
Oh yeah. Sure.
All of that to inform you about the context of a character's life.
Just in terms of studying what, I mean, because it's a subject that I've been fascinated with for years. It's a subject that Marlon and I spoke about.
And he spoke at the Academy Awards.
Yeah. He sure did, in a very interesting way. It's been something in my life that's always been fascinating to me. So to really learn, when you read, say, Howard Zinn's People's History of the United States, and you realize that, the human beings that were here, who were doing just fine before then, Columbus thought he'd hit India, and therefore called them Indians.
Right.
And we're still there.
And then there's Trail of Tears.
The Trail of Tears, you know, the moving westward, you know, the forcing these people off their rightful land, forcing these people to abandon their ways and go to Christian church and, you know, dress up and wear tie. I mean, it was you know, practically genocide. I mean, just a genocide of a people. And so when you have a character that in a film like The Lone Ranger has to carry that gravity, but at the same time entertain.
Yeah.
It's kind of an interesting tightrope.